Hello and welcome back. Until now, we relied on the PHP Apache image as the foundation of our application. In today's video, we are shifting to a modular design. This means Apache will run in its own container, while PHP will be handled by FastCGI process manager in another container. This approach will improve the performance. Also, it will make the setup easier to maintain. Hey and welcome back. As I said in the intro, we are going to separate the logic. So instead of managing the PHP and Apache in one server, we're gonna have two services. In the first one, and I will call it Apache, I will run the server. And in the second one, and we're gonna call it PHP, we are going to handle the PHP processes. I will create new Docker file for the Apache server, and I will keep this one for the PHP. So let's create new directory, call it PHP, and I will move the current Docker file, put it inside of it. And because I don't need this configuration anymore, I will delete it. New Docker file. Let me delete the template. And now I will go to the Docker Hub and I will search for the pure Apache image. So they call it HTTPD. This is the image we're gonna rely on. And before I'm going to start with configuring the Docker file, I want to create a temporary Docker container where we can explore the structure and demonstrate some important points. Therefore, let's open the shell. Let me zoom in and Docker create. Let's give it a name. Call it HTTPD. And then again, the name of the image, HTTPD. Enter. And now let's start it. So Docker start. And now we're gonna choose the name HTTPD. Enter. I will get inside of it using Docker exec for execute -it, the name of the container HTTPD, and then as usual bin bash shell. Enter. So this is the default image work directory. At the beginning, let's explore the structure. So ls-la. I don't know, but if you used DAM or XAMPP before, you should be familiar with this structure, especially this directory hdocs. This is the directory where we are going to put our entry point. Let's explore the directory. So ls-la again hdocs. Let's go to the project. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to map only the public folder. The rest of the project is irrelevant. I don't need it inside of the container where the server is running. Let's come back to the shell. The next directory I'm going to explore is models. So I'll clear ls models. Let me make it smaller. So those are the available mods. And we are going to activate 3 of them. The first one called FastCGI. And FastCGI is a protocol that allows Apache to communicate efficiently with external application, like in our case PHP. And because we are running our application in separate container, we're gonna use proxy FastCGI. There is 2 types. FastCGI, and proxy FastCGI. The second mod called proxy, so this is the first one, FastCGI, and the second one called mod proxy. And we need to activate this one because FastCGI depend on it. The third mode we are going to activate called rewrite. And rewrite mode is essential because it will allow us to redirect all the requests to one single point. Like in our application, we have the index.php. Be aware, most of PHP frameworks like Laravel, Symfony, also content management systems like WordPress follow this approach. Now, if I want to activate those models, I need to modify the configuration. So I need to install them. Let's clear the page. And as usual, apt update. After that, apt install them. Let me add y. Enter. For the people who don't know Vim is a script-based text editor. And now let's open the file, Vim, and then a directory called conf. After that, http.conf. Enter. So let me scroll down using Ctrl D. Those are the available models. So we need to look for FastCGI. So now I will click Shift and colon and then slash, and I will look for FCGI. This is the model I'm looking for, this one here. And I'm not going to do anything as I will modify this file later inside of the editor. But basically, everything we need to do is just to take off this sign symbol. Now I will release the file, so colon, shift, and Q with explanation mark. Enter. There is also another file I need to modify it called vhost. So basically it's inside of conf again, and then there is another directory called extra. And I need to open now this file called http vhost. http vhost. So inside of this file, we will define our virtual host. What I mean with that? For example, we will define the root directory. I mean the place where we can put our index.php file. Also, we can set the server name and the FastCGI configuration, directory permissions, and rewrite rules. Very crucial file as you see. I'm going to leave now. As usual, Q, explanation mark. And now I will start with the configuration of that Docker file. And the first thing we need to do is to choose the image we're gonna rely on. I will go to the browser. Starting at this point, I will use only fixed images. And to explain what I mean, tags like bookworm or latest are dynamic. And those tags point to the latest version of the image. And you know, those images will be updated continuously. So using them could lead to issues. So let's pick a fixed tag. This one here came with number, with version. I'm gonna use it. This time I will not define work directory because I will stick with the default. This one here, pwd. I will stick with it. So the next stage will be adding those configuration files. I will go to the Apache folder and I will add new folder. Call it conf. Enter. Then we need to copy those configuration files from the container. We need to use our dummy container to generate them. So I will open a new window. docker ps. So this is our container httpd. We're gonna pick the files from it. So as usual, docker cp for copy, and then we're gonna add the name of the container, httpd, the running container, colon, and now we're gonna specify the path and the file we're gonna copy. So it's going to be here, this one here, Apache 2, and let's continue seeing conf, this one here, conf http. This is the file. I will place it. Okay, let me add a slash. And then we can specify the directory in my host. So starting from the root, home, my username. So make sure to put your username, and then my second project. After that, we're gonna choose Docker and Apache or Apache conf. And I will add the name of the file. So httpd.conf. Enter. The second file will be the httpd vhost. So I will repeat the process, but we're gonna change the names. So let me come back. We're gonna delete this one here. I'll add extra, and then the name of the file. I'm not really sure, but let's see the name here. V, and take the slash, and now let's add it here. So I will go to delete it, V, and I hope it's going to work. Enter. Let's come back to the editor. And yes, we have those two files. So let's start modifying them. The first one will be the general one, httpd. And here we will activate the models. As I said before, I will uncomment them. So let's look for FastCGI. Not this one, the second one here. Let me clear the sign. And then we're gonna also uncomment the mod proxy, as we said. And the last one will be the rewrite mod. The last one here. Mod rewrite. So this is enough for now. I will move on to the second file. And as I said, we're gonna define the virtual host here. So I don't need the second one. And I will take those because I will stick with the default error log configuration. You can find it here. Let me scroll down like 300 or something. In this one here. So this is the default config. And everything I'm going to write here inside of this vhost block will override the default config. So in this situation, I don't want to add something extra. So the service alias is not necessary, and defining the server name in the container will not take effect. If you want to define it, you need to define it in the host machine. I will show you how you can do it later, but for now, I'm going to delete it. Also, the server admin is also not necessary. So I will stick for this one for now. And I believe we did this process before. So I'm going to define the document root. And as I said, it's going to be the hdocs directory. So I take this one here and add htdocs. I'm going to show you what I mean again. So let me clear. and ls-la. This directory here will be my document root. Come back to the editor. Next, I will define the directory block to specify the configuration for this document root. Let me zoom in. So, open directory, and now let me copy the original path, and now I will close the tag. So again, directory. I prepare couple of directives, so let me copy them and paste. The first one is allow override none, and this means don't allow HT access file to override settings. What does it mean? Sometimes people add this file in the root directory to expand the settings, and this could lead to some potential security issues, especially if it wasn't configured properly. The second one is require all granted, and this means allow everyone to access the files inside the directory. The third one is directory index, and this means serve index.php automatically when no file is specified. I believe it's clear. And the last one is fallback resource. Send all unknown URLs to the index.php. Next, I will add the last rule and the most important one. So let me copy it. I'm going to paste. So using this regular expression or regex pattern will tell this rule to forward every request that came with the ending .php to the PHP-FPM container using the FastCGI protocol instead of trying to handle it itself. The path var www html public tells PHP-FPM where to locate the PHP file exactly. And I want you to be aware from this PHP, I'm using here the name of the service. I'm sending the request to the PHP service. Now we finished from configuring the HTTP vhost, and we need to include it in the main config file. So I'll go there, and at the end of the file, I need you to write the following. Include, and please note it, we are starting from the root directory of the configuration. So conf, and then extra. After that, we're gonna add the file. So httpd-v-hosts.conf. We finished from the modifying, and the next step will be copy them back into the Docker file. Let me zoom in, copy, and as usual, I'm going to use relative path starting from the root directory of the project. So, Docker, Apache, again, conf, and now the first file, httpd.conf. Next, we need to specify the path inside of the container. I'm not sure, so let's check it. pwd, starting from the root, so user local Apache 2. Let me copy it. And then conf and the file httpd.conf. I will duplicate it. So, and I will add the second file. This one will be http d hyphen v hosts, and here we're gonna add extra slash httpd hyphen v hosts. This is everything we need to do. Let's move back to the Docker Compose to configure the service. I will copy the existence PHP service skeleton, as the new one will be pretty much the same. And now let's check the values one by one. We have at the beginning context, and this will stay the same, as I'm going to proceed the build starting from the root directory of the project. The Docker file is also correct. The container name, let's change it to be only Apache. And then ports is also alright. The only things we need to modify is the volume. As I said before, we are going to map only the public folder. So public. On the other side, we're gonna change the path completely. So starting from user, local, Apache 2, and then, as I said before, htdocs. Let's add a space. Now let's shift our focus on the PHP service. I will start by adjusting the Docker file. So the first things we need to do is to replace the tag. Let me zoom in. We need to replace the Apache tag with FPM tag. Let's come back to the Docker hub. Let's go to the search, and we're gonna replace it with PHP, the official image. I'm going to the tags, and I will look for FPM. We're gonna look for fixed tag, this one here. This is the latest PHP version. It will depend on your preferences. For me, it doesn't really matter. So come back to the editor, and we're gonna replace it. So for the people who don't know FPM, this version was designed to work with external server like Nginx, and also in our case Apache. Actually, we don't need to change too much. We only need to take this instruct out, and we are finished. Let's come back to the Docker Compose. So the context is good. We need only to change the name of the folder. So it's now PHP. And we're gonna change the name of the container. So as you expected, PHP. The port we don't have anymore. And the volume will stay the same. I believe this is everything. So let's move on to run the Docker Compose. I will exit now. And Docker Compose up in detach mode, enter. I hope I didn't, okay. I didn't finish my word. I did something wrong. So basically it's in the Apache. So it seems it's inside of the Apache Docker file. Let me zoom in. It seems to be, okay. It's a typo. So instead of writing conf, I wrote con. So I need to add F. I will save, and let's try again. Up again. Seems to be okay until now. I will speed up the process. Seems to be okay. So let's check the browser. As usual, localhost 8090. So running the Docker compose from the beginning in detach mode was not really a good idea. Let's run it again in attach mode. Docker compose up enter. Okay, syntax error on line 10 inside of httpd vhost directory. Okay, it's a typo. I'll come back to the vhosts line 10 directory. Actually, it's correct. Okay, the mistake is in the opening. So, okay. So, directory should work like this. And now, I will get out using Ctrl C. Keep in mind, changes won't take effect unless you rebuild the container. So, Docker compose, build, and now the name of the service, Apache, and enter. Next, Docker, compose, and down. And be aware, there is a major difference between down and stop. Stop means stop, but down means the container will be removed. Enter. After that, I wanna up them again. So, Docker, compose, up, enter. Let's try again, and I believe this time should work. Enter. It was long journey. Let's check it if it's work. One of my goals next year after the dictator was gone, visit Syria, my country. I hope you learned something. And if you got to this point, thank you. And please don't forget to give me a subscribe, maybe like, comment.